Hewitt's daily workout routine. Health report summary number 3. Despite the surpluses of foods being produced in the world, people around the world are still lacking in nutrition. Many people are having an iron deficiency. Some 2 billion people in the world don't get enough iron in their diets. In addition, 1/3 of all women of reproductive age are anemic. The title of the original article is The Global Iron Deficiency Crisis. And this was written by Sharman A.P.T. Russell in the May 20th, 2021 in Scientific American publication. This health report summary has been produced by Hewitt's daily workout routine. It is a summary that was created from a recent article in Scientific American, a very reputable publication. This article exposes the state of affairs within the global community about the lack of sufficient iron, a metal, and a vital nutrient among the many nutrients that we humans consume. It is an understatement to state that the human body needs iron for part of its regular sustenance. This nutrient plays an essential role in the movement of oxygen for the body to ensure its functionality. Starting from the atomic level, it takes 4 atoms of iron to create the molecule hemoglobin, the well talked about protein found in the red blood cells. Hemoglobin's principal role deals with storing and transporting oxygen throughout the body. In this summary, I will be focusing on why we need iron as opposed to how it works in the body. I believe by looking into the why question may raise awareness in the community about the urgency of the global crisis on iron deficiency. When we consume foods with iron, this nutrient does its work essentially in the body's organs, cells. Because every cell needs oxygen to burn off what I will call the petrol of the body, that is glucose. Energy is thereby produced so we can go about doing all the things we need to do daily. We tend to see these activities as merely mundane functionalities. I must address diplomatically that iron has a startling relationship with our neurological development. According to the author, children who don't have iron in their first 100 days, which is almost the first 3 years of their lives, are likely to have reduced attention span. The author added that they will be less able to grasp concepts. They are likely to experience irritability, become socially withdrawn, and these children will exhibit developmental delays in their language and motor skills. Ms. Russell, the author, did not indicate whether the delayed motor skills were fine or gross motor skills or both. In a relative observation, women have been the subject of many scientific studies in this area, simply because the statistics show that women are more at risk for having iron deficiency issues. A pregnant mother, for instance, who has little iron levels in her body may risk having a premature birth. Among other risk factors are infections, preeclampsia, and bleeding. Anemia has been known to be a common iron deficiency disease and has been implicated with one related symptom after another. People with anemia can suffer palpitation, and in severe cases, the stopped beating of the heart and even death. According to the author, a shocking 20% of maternal deaths are caused by anemia or lack of iron in the human body. Most strikingly, it is about 2 billion people across the globe do not get enough iron in their diet. Although not a viral disease, but in many cases a preventable one, as it can be said to be partly brought on by lifestyle causation as well as genetics. This phenomenon, however, is not something out of humanity's reach. Here are some foods that contain iron: meat, fish, vegetables, fruits, grains, and dairy products. Even so, iron absorption in the body can become problematic at times. One way to counter that is to take tea with your meal. Tea is said to improve the absorption of iron by 1/3 of the regular absorption levels. On the other hand, orange juice is said to improve it by doubling its absorption levels. A warning for diabetics: orange juice is loaded with sugar, and I will not recommend it. Despite the economic disparities that exist among people in the developing world and the developed world, according to the World Health Organization, WHO, 40% of pregnant women are anemic. In addition, 42% of children under the age of 5 are anemic. Another that adds to these staggering statistics, as if this was not bad enough, is the fact that 1/3 of all women of reproductive age are anemic the world over. The Center for Disease and Control, CDC, has determined that 15% of pregnant women in the United States are living in conditions below the recommended iron levels in their bodies. Despite all of the song and dances displayed by recipients of the United Nations Millennium Development Goal, MDC, according to the author, in 2020, not a single country had met its target to reducing anemia in women. In conclusion, I will express my concerns. The ubiquitous findings of iron deficiency around the globe speak loudly about the nature of the ongoing public health issues across the board facing the world today. There is a moral imperative for policymakers to begin to learn how to better manage their respective national public health agendas and priorities. This, I believe, is a clarion call for all involved to take stock of the people's affairs in the most, if not precocious ways. All of the tropical diseases that must be fought on a national scale, such as malaria in Africa, dengue in the Caribbean, may need aggressive policy actions. According to the most research, malaria disease is responsible for 1.3 million deaths per year. Of these deaths, the overwhelming majority are in children aged 5 years or younger, and 80 to 90% occur in sub-Saharan Africa. This figure, however, was improved over the past 10 or so years due to the better access to medicines. On the other hand, according to Medscape.com, dengue fever has a 2 to 5% mortality rate. Once detected early, the mortality rate can be significantly reduced. In another perspective, I must address the author's findings that deal with the symptoms of iron deficiency to include anemia. This article has shed some light and has given us a stop and think review of the failures of policymakers. It can be concluded that the science that they have adopted within the past 2 or 3 decades might be completely wrong or outdated. The science might very well be obsolete. It might be well within the time to change course. Instead of popping the pills, our children may need to be looked after from a different approach. It has long been established in the public school system in the United States that the children who often display a variety of attention deficits behaviors have been relegated to receiving what I would call the mental health care services. Hence the terminology attention deficit hyperactive disorder, among other behavioral disorders, must be a matter up for review at this juncture. Many of these children have been prescribed medication like Ritalin and other behaviors, psychotropic drugs, to address the behavior issues. This article has produced a new perspective pointing to the root causes of attention-seeking behaviors we often see in our children. It certainly does offer insights into how to address the issues of attention deficit disorder. I feel it ought to be treated or looked after, if not from a strictly biological approach, rather a broader and inclusive medical approach instead of a purely psychological one. This, I believe, is good news, especially that it comes against the backdrop of COVID-19, misinformation, and disinformation about the world pandemic. Irrespective of the world's health plights or various health plights, our priorities must still be in the right place and time. Written by Hewitt James. Hewitt's daily workout routine. This is a public health gesture by Hewitt James. It is Hewitt's effort to assist in the shared reduction of the negative externalities associated with the lack of physical exercise a matter of public health at large in the community. The author of this article, published in Scientific American, is Sharman Russell. Ms. Russell is a professor emeritus in humanities at Western New Mexico University and an associate on the faculty of Antioch University. She is the author of A Diary of a Citizen Scientist, winner of the 2016 Bond Burroughs Medal. She has published other books and received other prestigious awards for her writings. She is also the author of the recently published Within Our Grasp from Pantheon Books. Works cited: all my bibliography. Sharman Russell, May 2021, The Global Iron Deficiency, and the source is Scientific American. Scientific American is a science-based publication that publishes entirely on articles with scientific origin, including clinical studies. In other words, the assumption is the articles must meet an evidence-based criterion in order to find their way into their pages. Scientific American publishes its magazines on a monthly basis. There is also an online edition, which is much more an in-depth version of the publication. To get more health report summaries, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Simply search for Hewitt's Daily Workout Routine /health report summaries. You can also check out my latest report. It is Health Report Summary number 4. This health report is about the COVID-19 vaccine. You will learn that the COVID-19 vaccine does not interfere with sexual functions and the functionalities of sexual fertility. Check it out, as it is very exciting information. Have a good day, and thank you for listening. This is Hewitt, and this report was created, read, and prepared by Hewitt James. This is Hewitt representing his daily workout routine. Hewitt's Daily Workout Routine. Thank you. Now, a point of correction. The correction that I needed to make was children in their first 90 days or 99 days or 100 days would mean they would be in their first 3 months.